Hey, Good Sam, this is Pastor Jed.
And Laurel Jolliffe.
And we are here to give you a brief update on where we are as a church. Every now and again, LJ and I have an opportunity to talk about where we have been as a church and where we are as a church, and most importantly, where we are going as a church.
That's exciting. So let's see, if you were a doctor and you would look at the health of Good Sam, what would you say?
I would be really encouraged with the health of Good Sam. I think we've come through a season that has been really challenging as we've been navigating a lot of change, as we've been in the middle of a pandemic, as our church family continues to shift. It's been fast and it's been furious. And I think what's happening now with our pace of ministry is we're moving more into a slow and steady pace of ministry. We're living into the big decisions, the big commitments that we've made. Since the last time we got together and we gave you an update, there are some really good things that have happened. On Sunday, we are welcoming 12 new members into the Good Sam family. We just completed our second semester of Wednesday Night Live. We completed 2 discipleship cohorts. We are doing one-on-one discipleship at the church. And it just feels really good. It feels really healthy. But it also feels like we need to keep on being healthy. We need to keep on attending to our relational compass, which guides us and helps us to create a healthy environment.
Fantastic. So we got a good bill of health.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So one of the big things that's been happening at this church this year has been, in fact, we've been working on it for the last couple of years, even before Pastor Jeff left. We started talking about having a leadership team model of organization within Good Sam. And then you come along and that's all you know from years past. And so we're trying to continue with that model. And so we've been practicing that for a year. We have got a constitution ready for you to review. And we have, in addition to the Constitution, of course, on December 12th, we're going to be having our next congregational meeting, and we're going to be talking about lots of things. But the big one is deciding whether or not we're going to move to a leadership team model.
Yeah, so one of the beautiful things about the leadership team model is it helps the leadership team focus on key priorities of the church. The leadership team only has 5 specific responsibilities. I'd love for you just to share what those responsibilities are. What is it that the leadership team has been up to?
That's a great question. So the first thing we get to do is we're monitoring the overall health and the momentum of ministry at Good Sam. And so by you giving our little checkup, I kind of agree with you because the leadership team has been monitoring the overall health of Good Sam. And so that's exciting. We're also trying to encourage and support you, the lead pastor here at Good Sam. And we've also identified a few spiritual and strategic goals for this year. We're also working on next year's goals for that. And then finally, we are also crafting a budget with the finance team for next year as well. And then lastly, we are responsible for managing crisis situations if and when they occur. And I am happy to say that we haven't had any crisis this year.
Right.
Thank God.
Thank God. So thank you for being a healthy church that allows us to focus on increasing our love for God, increasing our love for our community, thank you, and increasing our love for each other. So one of the things that the leadership team has done is we have prayed and we have sought God's face and we have crafted several spiritual goals. One of the goals is that we would realize that 10 people would come to Christ or rededicate themselves to Christ. And I'm happy to report that 8 people so far this year have said yes to Jesus. On December 12th, I'm going to be preaching my heart out, and I'm going to be giving the Good Sam another opportunity to make a decision to come to Christ. The other spiritual goal that the leadership team has set is to develop a discipleship model. And the beautiful thing is that we're well on our way at identifying what discipleship looks like at this church.
So one of the strategic goals that we've been working on is we implemented a giving system. And so what that is if someone gives for the first time, they get a little note from the leadership team. We don't know who they are, and what they've given, and it doesn't matter. What matters is they are giving for the first time.
Basically, we just want to recognize that when you give to God, we appreciate it. And we want to recognize that your gift is helping further the vision of this church.
Another one of our strategic goals is to connect our church community with the community of Valley Springs. And one of the ways we've done that is our Wednesday Night Live program. Another one, of course, we need to make sure that we are supporting and encouraging our staff and our ministry leaders. And so that's also important. And then finally, we've been working with the finance team to chisel out a budget for 2022 in hopes that you will see the value of that as well.
Yeah, so I'm so proud of our leadership team. I'm so proud of our finance team. We've been working extremely hard at offering a budget that we believe is packed full of faith, but also is realistic. As I'm learning more about this church, one of the things that I'm recognizing is that there is a challenge that we face, and we want to be honest with these challenges. We want to look at them face on, and we want to have plans to navigate the challenges that are in front of us. In 2007, this church made the decision to build this beautiful sanctuary. Our church was on an uptick with attendance. Valley Springs was growing. It just made sense. If we were going to reach more people with the love of Christ, we needed a bigger place to have all the people that were going to join the church. And so it made perfect sense. But if you remember 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, you might remember this little thing called the financial meltdown. So when we were in the middle of building this beautiful building, the bottom fell out financially, not just in our community, but nationally and globally. And the price of this building, it soared, it doubled. And so we got the building that we wanted, but we got the price tag that we didn't. And so that's one of our realities. And so we're just looking at how we can pay down the mortgage so we can invest more time, so that we can invest more resources in ministry. LJ, what I'm really excited about is our leadership team is doing things actively to address this challenge. Can you tell us a few of the things that we're up to?
Yeah, well, we definitely want to knock that budget, the mortgage principal down as much as possible. In fact, in 2020, we made an extra payment. In 21, we're paying an extra $80,000 towards that principal. And then in 22, kind of a little excited about this, we have a fundraiser planned, and it may or may not have something to do with a talent show.
Talent show?
You have,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So what's beautiful about what the leadership team is up to is as we navigate these challenges, it gives us an opportunity of also looking at the things that matter to the life of this church, that matter to the ministry of this church. What we are doing is we are proposing a budget with some increases. We are looking at the staff, and we are looking at the value that the staff brings to the ministry of this church. We're also looking at specific ministries that help our vision become reality. And so when you look at the budget, there are some increases. And there are increases that involve the staff and involve ministries. We've worked really hard. We've stayed up late, we've chiseled away, we've agonized, we've tussled, and this is our very, very best effort to give a budget that is, it's a big budget, it's a step of faith, but we also believe that this is the way that we invest in the future of the church. The leadership team also has a lot of wisdom in saying we're proposing a budget, and it's going to be a stretch budget. It's going to be a faith budget. But we're also being realistic, and so we're proposing a budget that we know that if in 6 months things need to be adjusted or things need to be turned around, we are willing to make difficult decisions to live into the financial reality of this next year.
Fantastic. So, on December 12th, it's in just a few weeks, we're going to have our next congregational meeting. And I'm hoping that you'll come.
Mm-hmm.
Our members will be getting an email very soon with the proposed budget. It'll also have the proposed leadership team model constitution, which you will not be voting on the constitution, but you will be voting on the budget for next year. And then in February, we'll talk leadership team model and all that goes with that. So you will be getting an email soon, or the members will be getting an email, And make sure you bring those things with you if you want to reference them during the meeting. If you don't have email, let Lisa know. She'd be happy to print them out for you.
The last thing we want you to know is that the reason that this church exists is so that people would experience the love of God. We're going into the season of Advent. We're going into a season in which we are reminded that God gave us his very best. God gave us his son, and that Jesus makes all the difference in the world. It's a great opportunity for you to be thinking about who you are going to invite to Good Sam during this Advent season. We have posters out, we have banners out, and we have invitation pieces. And we're asking that everyone who is connected with our church family would be thinking and praying and would take the next step of inviting them to come and celebrate God's goodness this Advent season. Again, we want to thank you for being a loving church that is increasing your love for God. You're increasing your love for our community. You are increasing your love for each other. Blessings.
We'll see you soon.